Hello and welcome to the BCU Alumni podcast. I'm Bethan, and in each episode we welcome a different member of the alumni community back onto campus to find out what they've been up to since they graduated from BCU. Today we're joined by Pam Sheemar. After graduating from BCU with a BA in Government and Law, Pam has gone on to work her way up the ladder at NatWest, where she is now Regional Enterprise Director for the Midlands and the East of England. Alongside her role, she's also the Director of Entrepreneur Engagement at Birmingham Tech, as well as a business mentor and coach and Global Co-Chair of NatWest Multicultural Network. In this episode, we're going to discover what it takes to become a powerful woman in business, how to make contacts and get involved in initiatives, and what you need to successfully climb the career ladder. So Pam, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast.
You're welcome.
It was actually quite difficult to get everything that you do in your introduction. You do lots of different things. But in all seriousness, how do you actually do it all?
Oh, it's all linked together. So basically making sure that all the parts join up. I am passionate about working with entrepreneurs. So from an entrepreneur perspective, being a mentor, a coach, directly links in with my role. And then Birmingham Tech is an awesome startup, so that directly links in as well. Okay,
so let's rewind the clock then.
Mm-hmm.
You started here in around the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like to be a student in Birmingham at that time? I know it wasn't that long ago, but the city has changed a lot since then.
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated in 1998, and that was at the Perrybar campus, which was then UCE. So it's a huge amount of change. We've just been walking around the amazing new facilities you've got here. So loads of change, I guess. Moving into the city, I think that's massive. I think from a strategic perspective, you're where everything happens in Birmingham. So I think that's a massive change. And also, I think the vibe of the university has changed. It's now global, and you get a real sense of that. So, and that's a real kind of positive as well. I'm really proud to be alumni. I think, I always showcase the fact that I'm from BCU and I've studied here. And I do attribute a lot of that to it.
So what was it like to study at Perrybar then?
Oh my God, it was different.
Yeah.
It was very different. So we had like the very nice one stop across the road. That was everyone went for their McDonald's, I think it was then.
Right.
I was in Galton building, so I did business studies in there. And it was just a different vibe, and when I graduated, I was absolutely delighted. So really happy. It was good times.
That's good. So after graduating, then what were those kind of like first few like initial years like? I guess, did you always know what it is that you wanted to go on and do, or did you find what kind of worked for you over time?
So I think when people say they have a very linear journey when they come out of uni, I think that can be a bit of a myth. I think what I call it is a bit of a squiggle career.
Yeah.
So it's almost experimenting in terms of what do you enjoy. My degree was government and law.
Yeah.
And in those days, I kind of think you had to do like a year as LPC, which was effectively really expensive to do. So I guess I joined the bank to learn some skills, which then I could then go on to practice law or do law if that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But actually, when I joined the bank, I found that a lot of the skills and a lot of the key attributes that I learned at BC were really transferable to banking. So that's what I ended up there.
Okay, so you've worked at NatWest in, I guess, a series of different roles then. So what is it like to work within commercial banking then? And do you think the opportunities are there to be able to try different roles and different responsibilities and kind of work your way around?
So with banking, each department has its own, I'd say, culture and its own kind of vibe and learning opportunity. So I've probably moved, I guess, about 10 roles since joining the bank. I know. So I started off in mortgages, and that was very much kind of learning a lot of that. I moved into communications. I did a few senior PA roles for some senior execs. That kind of gives you that strategy and that leadership skills. Moved into retail banking. I was actually local director as well, so leading the banking retail franchise in Wales and North Wales. And then also then moving into entrepreneurship, in between that taking a stint at, doing some time in commercial banking, which is the larger businesses from 2 million turnover to 45 million turnover.
Oh, wow.
And then moving across to heading up the entrepreneurship team for the Midlands and East of England.
So I guess, can you talk me through what your job involves now?
Yeah.
And how is it that you actually, how are you able to actually really support kind of those local budding entrepreneurs as well?
So I think it's the best job, honestly. What you're doing is you're basically helping people to bring their dreams to life.
Yeah.
So if someone's got an idea for a business, there's a place for that. Actually, how do you turn this idea into a business? Otherwise it can be a really expensive hobby. So actually giving them the tools, the skill set, connect them with the right networks, the community, because it can be really lonely being an entrepreneur. So that's one stage of it. Then those businesses which are growing but they don't know how to really scale. I mean, we've got one unicorn in the Midlands, which is Gymshark. But we've got loads of other businesses that are scaling really well. So again, sometimes the drivers are funding, sometimes the drivers aren't connected to the right network, the board members. So my role is to unlock that with my team. And the team provide coaching, a lovely community space, and also those mentorships and those kind of business relationships to make those businesses grow.
Okay. So, I mean, I touched on it earlier that you do a lot with the time that you have. How is it that you switch off? And like, how do you kind of like take, yourself out of work mode?
So I love community work. So I think switching off, I'm not sure, like when cooking, I think I liked cooking. That's what I do to switch off. I made chocolate concrete cake over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
So that was my switching off. But I think for me, it's even when it's my downtime, I'm still probably doing something. So once a month, I support with a homeless feed. Every Friday in town by Dale End, I take staff with me. So that's always something kind of, it sounds like work, but it's actually downtime because it's actually doing something for the community. You'll probably know I'm a magistrate as well, so that's kind of that comes into it as well. But yeah, downtime for me, I think, is probably cooking. That's what I do to unwind. Nice. I should do gym, but it's more cooking.
So you are a real inspiration for women here in Birmingham then for climbing that career ladder. But have you ever had to kind of deal with the criticism or the setbacks, especially in an industry like banking? Are there lots of people who kind of look and sound like you, or people whose opinions you might feel a bit different about? Like, how do you kind of deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So financial services traditionally have been male dominated industries. So I think finding a place and finding your voice in those places can be challenging. So you have had to navigate kind of the boardroom, where you're the only the female, and then secondly probably the only diverse person in the room. So that can be a challenge. I think the important thing is to kind of be your authentic self and bring your real skills to work. I think there's nothing better than proving that you can actually do the job and making that known. But also I think the value of mentors, I think it's really, really important that you find a mentor, you have mentors who can actually help you in those situations or help you kind of navigate that. Now, I think it's changing now. I think there's a lot more kind of diversity in terms of gender balance in a lot of the financial institutions. And if you think about Birmingham, for example, often I look in the window and it doesn't reflect what I see outside the window, So I think there's a lot of work to be done in terms of reflecting the communities we serve from a gender perspective or from an ethnicity perspective. But it has been a challenge, but I'm really proud in terms of, being able to kind of break some of those glass ceilings and barriers.
So kind of on that point then, you are part of NatWest Multicultural Network. So I guess how important is it for you to be part of making banking more diverse and inclusive then?
Oh, amazingly important. So the global co-chair position was something that you're elected to by the staff. There's 3 global co-chairs. We have 19 strands, which includes USA, India, Poland, Jersey, Guernsey, and the whole of the kind of country nationally. So it's 19 strands. And then every couple of months we have a direct dialogue with Porthwaite and Scott McCarr, who are basically our exec sponsors. Now, what that enables us to do is actually say where are the hotspots and how do you move the dial. So I think that's really, really important. I mean, one of the things I'm really, really proud of is I lead the culture and educate pillar. So what that means is actually let's not just kind of celebrate, but let's also learn about culture and make that a more kind of educational piece. And I think that's worked really well, especially for career development for a lot of the members. There's over 20,000 members in the Global Multicultural Network, and I'm really, really proud of it. Further to kind of your question earlier, I helped design the Career Accelerator, and the Career Accelerator was a piece of work which was designed to help staff progress in their careers where they are from different backgrounds and from obviously genders and different ethnicity or intersectionality. So I'm really proud that's been rolled out.
Okay, so what advice would you give then to current students or fellow graduates who are thinking about getting into banking themselves?
I'd say definitely do it. I think the misconception is that banking is just kind of branch that you've just got the front of us. That's what we see, isn't it, when you think of a bank?
Yeah.
But actually, think of banks as a whole organisation. They will have HR departments. They will have media departments like this. We've got our own comms. We've got cyber security teams. We've got front-facing relationship manager, a team that leads entrepreneurship. So I definitely would consider it as a career. And I think the BCU courses here and the degrees they give a huge, massive platform to be a lightning rod to join banking. So definitely do it.
Okay. What I love about you is that you actually still practice law because you are a magistrate.
Yes.
What does that kind of entail then? And also, what is it really like to have so many different aspects of your career?
I think I love the magistrate. I've been doing it for about 7 years. So
Yeah.
I sit on the crime bench. I was there on Saturday. So the way I kind of fit that in is I tend to do kind of once a month or once every once every kind of 3 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Rotations. I think it's really important that you give back, and I think as a magistrate you're effectively administrating justice, but you're from the community and the community that you're serving, and I think it's a huge responsibility. You know, you're responsible for people's lives, you know, and you're responsible for what's going to happen to their families. So I think it's a huge amount to take on board, but really enjoy it, because there's days when you walk out of there, think, do you know what, I've really made the right decision.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. And to be honest, doing law, I think I was really keen to make sure I still did something in that. So we don't, as magistrates, we don't really give any. I guess we're not the legal advisor. Legal advisors give the legal advice, but we have sentencing guidelines that we use, and we work with the legal advisor. But that does help you give that kind of context and background information. But it's amazing, and I think it is something that I'm really proud of.
Okay. So this is something we like to do in every episode then, a Birmingham quick fire round.
Ooh.
Are you actually from Birmingham?
Yes, born and bred in Birmingham.
Born and bred. Okay, would you rather go to Snobs or Pop World then?
Snobs.
Do you not like cheesy music? Blues or Villa?
Ooh, baggies.
Oh, interesting. West Brom. Would you rather go to Broad Street or Digbeth?
Oh, Digbeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's your kind of favourite places to go in Digbeth?
Custard factories.
Yeah, I love the custard factory.
It's smart, isn't it?
Yeah. Where is your favourite, like, Brummie landmark?
Oh, flues in the jacuzzi.
Flues in the jacuzzi.
See, only a Brummie would know that.
Yeah, if you know the Flues in the jacuzzi, you know where it is. Yeah, although you can't access it at the moment, can you? It's like, I think isn't it been like closed down or something?
I think she's having a redress or refreshes.
Yeah, bless her. She'll be back working soon, won't she? And your best, like, Brummie word?
Bab.
Bab, such a classic.
It's got to be Bab.
You can't go wrong with Bab.
You can't, can you, Bab?
So you've been selected as one of our industry icons at this year's Alumni Festival. So what does that mean to you?
Oh my God, it's extremely humbling, honestly. I think being an alumni and being born in Birmingham and gone to BC University, I think it's just really humbling. And, you know, thank you for the opportunity. I think it's great. I'm really kind of, I'm getting all shy now, you can tell. But it's humbling. It's really, really great. Thank you.
A final question then. If you could go back to your very first day here at BCU, so what year would that be? 95?
Yeah, about that.
95?
Give my age away.
So what is the one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you could go back to that?
I would say get involved in as much as you can, because I think the university has so much to offer, and unless you ask, you don't know. Unless you don't do, you won't get involved.
Yeah.
So I think just submerge yourself, because you're never going to have that university experience again. So just go for it.
Pam, thanks so much for coming by today and coming on to the podcast. It was so nice to talk to you and find out more about, you know, your journey and all sorts. So thank you. And hopefully see you again very soon.
Lovely. Thank you so much.